Hi, I'm Viola Goodacre, and I'm a developer at TPF Software who works on zTPFGI. I'm just going to talk to you today about the asynchronous trace in zTPFGI and just go over that. Firstly, just very briefly, I thought I'd show you a little picture. This is an overview of what the asynchronous trace is. Now, just to describe this, you don't have to read the writing, but just to describe this, what the asynchronous trace is it's a way of intercepting messages that come from outside the system, and it captures it and it shows it to you in the normal ECB window, and it allows you to trace and it allows you to trace the ECB even though it didn't actually originate from within the system. So the different criteria are defined by administrators, and it can be based on different things like IP address, terminal address, the name of the program, and various other types of ECB fields as well. Now, in this demonstration, at the end of this demonstration, I'll open it up to questions, but I have to say the best way to send your questions is to send them via email to the your support ID. But of course you can also click the hand raise symbol and also send a message to the organizer of this webinar. And we'll try and answer the questions the best that we can. Okay, now to go into the webinar itself. Let's start off by actually looking at how to allocate an asynchronous trace resource. So the way that it works is that we actually allocate resources which listen for the specified criteria and then intercepts the ECB and shows it to you once it finds a message with that criteria. What you can see here is you can see that I have zTPFGI running. I'm connected to a vPars, and I'm in the System tab. So if I go to the Async Resources button and click it, there's a drop-down menu, and this lists various types of asynchronous resources. There's lots of different kinds. For example, this is for a dial-in terminal. This one captures captures a ECB based on the terminal address or line IATA. And there's various others. As for this demo, I am going to show you 3 specific ones. The first one I'll show you is this one, IPC, which captures the message from my own IP address. So it listens for a message coming in from a specific IP address and captures that. The other one that I will show you is capturing an entry to a program. So when I run the command, it'll listen for when a specific program is entered and it will capture that. And third one I'll show you is capturing a system error. First of all, let's start off with capturing from my IP address. So this is as simple as I'll click IPC. And what you can see here is this is a trace resource. You'll recognize the look of it because it's very similar to our other trace terminals, such as ALC, LOC. And it says in here that it will accept a capture from this specified IP address. So now, in order to show you it doing this, I actually need to be able to run a command, but from outside of this zTPFGI environment. So for this purpose, I've got a little test program here. And what I can do in this test program is I can say which system I want to put input into, and then I can enter my input. I have here a test program again, which I can enter, and I'll click send. And as you can see here, the resource that I'd set up and allocated, let me just move this out of the way. You can see that it's captured it and it's showing it to you as an ECB. And from this point on, it's exactly the same as any other ECB that you would have captured from within the system. You can view data, for example, and you can step through it, and you can let's double click a data level as well. So you can basically do anything that you did. Let me just set all macros. So there I've set all macros, and then if I step, it should stop at the next macro. And it behaves in the same sort of way as it would for any other ECB that's been captured, but the difference being that it originated outside of the system, and it's specifically listening for messages that originated from the specified IP address. Okay, it really is as simple as that. So let me just exit the CCB, and the next thing you'll see is that once I've exited the ECB, the actual resource is disabled. Now, the reason we do that is because if we leave it enabled, it's all the time listening, which creates an overhead. So after you've used the resource, we disable it, and then there's a way, which you'll see later, I'll show you, there's a way to re-enable it to be able to use it again if needed. But I've shown you this IPC capture now, and I'm not really intending to do anything more with this, so I'm going to go back to the System tab, and I'm going to click the Async Resource button, and here I can say Release Active. This is the enable to re-enable it. Here's Release Active or Release All. I've only got one, so I'll just say Release Active, and that releases that asynchronous resource. So that's the first one that I was going to show you. I will now show you another one. The next one that I said I was going to show you was the program capture. And this actually listens for whether the command enters a specified program. And if it enters the specified program, it'll capture the ECB. Now, the program I'm going to enter is, it's again a test program called TST0. So I'll say OK. And here it says, will capture ECB that enters TST0. So it's fairly simple. It tells you what it's going to do, in case you're in doubt. And so now what I need to do is I need to, again, run a program that's outside of zTPFGI. So to do this, I've actually got a 3270 terminal running, and I'm going to type in a command which I know passes through the TST0. So, and I'll just hit enter. And same again, same as you saw before, you can see that it's captured the program, and it says intercepted ECB, and exactly the same as before. I can step, and I can do an instruction step, for example. Anything that you could do in a normal ECB, you should be able to do in this one too. So I'm just going to exit this again because you've seen all I need to show you on this. Now, the next thing I would like to show you, and I'm not going to release this particular resource because there is one other thing I'd like to show you, and that is how to source view trace. And this is actually just as easy as you've seen already. Here I have TST0 and SO, and I've opened the source file which goes along with it. So I'm just going to lock that source file into the source view trace, and it's locked into source view now. So I'm going to go and I'm going to go back to my 3270, and I'm going to type exactly the same command again. Sorry, hang on a moment. I have my all macros checked, so this might stop in the ECB for that reason. Oh, and I haven't enabled it. Apologies, I will start this again and do it again. So let's start off by re-enabling my resource, and that would help it to capture what it's after. Okay, so now let's try entering. And you should see it now stop in source view. Okay, so now you can see that I did exactly the same. I've locked it into source view, and now you can, again, as before, you can step, and you can set breakpoints, and you can run to cursor. Anything that you could do in a normal source view trace, you can do in this now. So let me just exit the CCP again, and I'll unlock it. And so now, so that's the program capture. So I'll just release this ECB again. Now, the third thing that I was going to show you was the error capture. Okay, so I'm going to put in a program name. Again, this is a test program which I know is likely to hit an error. PR0, and I'm going to put in the error number that I'm looking for. So this is telling the resource, we're setting up the resource to say, listen for this program and listen for this particular error in this program. So I'm going to say OK, and it says we'll capture system error with the system error number if it occurs in program, and it tells you the program name. So again, it tells you exactly what it's going to do. So I'll just, because we need to originate, to show the asynchronous trace, because we need to originate from outside of our own environment, again, I'll bring up the 3270, and I shall enter a program which I know will hit that error, just to show you. I shall hit enter. And you can see we've hit the system error, and you can view different things about it. You can open up the data level cause, and you can look at the different aspects to try and see what's going on with that error. So I'll just exit that as well, and I will release this resource as well. That really is as simple as setting up and an asynchronous trace. It's as simple as choosing your resource and then running your command and capturing the resource, and from then there you can trace it, and you can trace it as you've seen in the ECB window, and you can trace at the source level as well. I know this is a rather short webinar, but it's a fairly short topic. So I'd like to, at this point, just see if there are any questions about this. Okay, yeah, so it seems that there's a question. Let me just see. Oh, okay, yeah, there's two different questions. Can you trap entries done by others then too, or only ones done by you, was one question. I don't actually know the answer to that. I think probably yes. What would be good is I can refer your question to one of our host people, one of our actual TPF people who might be able to answer that. Okay, and I have another question, which is if you're interested in several things at once, can you have several of these going simultaneously? The answer I do know is yes, you can. So you can start up multiple resources, and you can and then if you wanted to release them all at once, you can release all. But if you want to just release one at a time, you can release just the one that is active at the moment. So yes, you can have several of these running one at a time. Right, I have one more question. If you've trapped an entry, does that reduce the performance impact on that resource? And is it then no longer listening? Again, that's a technical question, which I think our host-side programmers would probably know the answer to. I mean, I could answer what I think, but I think I'd rather leave that to the experts to answer. So we can refer that question to somebody who could answer that. Are there any more questions? Okay, well, I guess if there's not any more questions, those who have asked questions that I was unable to answer, mainly because I'm the user interface developer rather than an actual TPF programmer, we can refer those questions to those who can answer them, and hopefully get back to you on that. But if there's no more questions, I guess although it has been a very short webinar, really the asynchronous trace is quite a simple to use feature from the end user point of view. So I think we can end this webinar. So a question again, will these be taped? Yes, these webinars are recorded, and they're made available on our website. Thanks a lot for attending. Thank you and goodbye, everybody.